Hey, what's going on, guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. Let's do a review on the Osprey Levity 45-liter backpack today. Now, the Osprey Levity comes in two sizes. You've got a 60-liter and a 45-liter. This is the 45-liter version. All of the aspects to this pack, I feel like, are just meant to be as simple and minimal as possible. What they've done is created a body to the pack that is a super lightweight, really thin type of nylon material. And then on the outside of the pack, where you have these outside pockets, you've got a more high denier type of material that's going to be more abrasion resistant. And this is going to come into play here in a second when we talk about the negatives. But the thing about this that is different from, say, my Waymark frameless pack here is this is frameless and this is not. This has a metal frame on the inside of it that creates the structure, but it's also very flexible. So I can manipulate this. It's going to move well with my body as long as I'm not overloading this with too much weight. And so 25, 30 pounds at max is about all you want to carry with this pack, because otherwise it loses its ability to provide the structure that it needs to support the weight. And that is a kind of a downside, but I mean, if you're getting into this pack, you are a more advanced, experienced backpacker anyway. But I've noticed that if I've had up to 30 pounds in this, it starts to collapse on itself because there's so much weight on the body. And because the frame is not attached right against the back panel, it's moved away from the back a little bit, so it doesn't carry that weight as well as, say, potentially 30 pounds in this frameless pack. But again, 30 pounds for ultralight is not really in that ultralight realm. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Now, the hip belt system and the suspension system are stripped down to be as minimal as possible to still give you the comfort that you would need in the pack, but they don't have hip belt pockets on this, which is not a deal breaker in my opinion. But now, having used it, you can see that I've got a pocket here because I like to have access to my phone to look at maps and everything. And so it would have been nice to have some kind of pocket option, even to be able to put keys or chapstick or a snack to have easy access to. Instead, I carry like some kind of a fanny pack, or I've got this pocket here that I put snacks and my phone and such in. There is one aspect to the hip belt that's a little annoying, and it has to do with the way that the buckle and this nylon strap come across my belly. It just sits kind of weird, and I don't know if it would be able to be adjusted if they had moved these Y straps here out a little bit more so that they carry the load a little bit different. It could also just be my body type. Now, as far as the torso length and the shoulder straps here, these are sewn in. The pack comes in three different sizes, a small, medium, and a large. And the total liter capacity changes a little bit once you enter that realm of the different sizes. But the shoulder straps are super minimal. They kind of follow that same aspect of what you get from the Exos, where you've got just a small amount of padding here that comes right over the collarbones and the shoulders. Everything else is meant to just be stripped down, really simple, so you're not carrying unnecessary weight in the suspension system than you would need. I will say that it does accomplish being able to carry comfortably, and it really is, for a lightweight backpack, one of the more comfortable backpacks I've carried on the trail. So well done in that regard. You also do have load lifters here on the pack, which is not something you always see from different types of ultralight backpacks, but at least you've got all of the aspects that you would expect to see from a full-featured backpack without removing so many things that it just doesn't perform as it would need on the trail. The last thing to talk about as far as like specs and features of the pack before we talk about my experience with it is you've got a full top lid here that has a pretty large pocket here on the top, and a place to, there's a bottle cap in there, but a place to put your keys to hang for while you're out on your trip. You've got compression straps that are just a thin reflective cord that goes from the top all the way down to the bottom of the pocket. And then you've got a center pocket here and then two side pockets. And it's a really stripped down, simple backpack. Now, what are the negatives? What is my experience with this pack? Because this is not quite what I expected or hoped it to be comparing it directly to my Gregory Optic 48, which I sold that pack to get this because initially I was like, oh my gosh, look, Osprey came out with this amazing pack and I'm really excited about it. And then I sold the Optic because it's like, well, let's try something different. And now after having used this pack for several trips, I'm like, man, why did I regret doing that? I really do regret doing that. And let's talk about why. Here on the pack, you've got this really like high denier, high abrasion resistance fabric that is basically around the body of the pack to protect it. The issue for that with me is it doesn't stretch. There's no way for it to have any give, especially once you've got this loaded down to basically a full load. It doesn't allow for a lot of space to be able to put things in here. Because they wanted to use this really lightweight nylon material, they were like, oh, well, now we got to put a fabric on the outside that's going to protect that. But in the realm of being able to make this as versatile as possible, like comparing to my Waymark pack here, I've got a lot of space here on the outside of the pack in this mesh pocket that is not compromised by anything being loaded onto the body or into the body of the pack. And that's not the case with the Levity here. Next to that is the way that the side pockets are designed. I don't understand the Osprey isms of why they design these side pockets the way that they do. Make it so that I can get a bottle. Where's my bottle? Make it so that I can get a bottle in and out of the top of the pocket really easy. And when this is loaded with all of the gear inside, it's super hard. Even right now, I don't have a lot of stuff in here. I'm just doing that to give it form. And you can see that that is not easy to get in there. So what did Osprey do? They put this like weird flap of fabric right here. I'll show you on this one over here. They put this like weird flap of fabric so that you should be able to shove it in on the side here. To me, this is super uncomfortable because I've got like the cap of the bottle that I'm hitting my elbow on as I'm walking, and I really just don't like that. This is me being pretty nitpicky, but also when you've got tent poles or anything stuffed into the side pocket, which people do because tent poles are wider than the width of the pack, it makes it nearly impossible to get a bottle into the side pocket. It's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. Now, the last negative to talk about with the Levity has to do with the top lid. Now, on my Gregory Optic 48, it's not as ultralight of a backpack as the Levity is, but at least I can remove the top lid on the Optic. This is sewn in, and I don't understand why Osprey did that on this pack, because there's so many times that when you are a true ultralight backpacker, that even me as a lightweight backpacker that has a 12-13 pound base weight pretty much all the time, I end up not even needing to use the top lid, and it just becomes a waste of space and fabric on the pack that it would make so much more sense for me to be able to remove this and leave it at home and just have this open, which if I'm using a pack liner anyway, that's not a big deal. It really isn't. So I don't have to worry so much about, well, I don't want a little bit of water getting into the tiny hole on the Spindrift collar here in the top, the cinch collar. It's just, I wish that they would have made this removable. It really would have made a difference in the overall experience of the pack. Now guys, that is the Osprey Levity 45. Overall, my experience for the past several trips, several months that I've been using this product, I'm actually happy with it. I do think it is a quality piece of gear for something that's going to save you up to pounds potentially in your backpacking system, and it would be a great way for somebody to get into that realm of ultralight without having to maybe go with a frameless pack because you're nervous about going frameless, whatever it is. It's a great pack. It just needs some of those things dialed in to make it a little bit better for the people that really are used to using an ultralight backpack. I appreciate you watching. If you do own this pack and you've been using it, I'd be curious to know in the comments what your experience has been like, if you like it or if you don't like it. But thanks again for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do, and hit the bell notification to get notified when I post new videos. I hope you have an awesome day. We'll catch you on the next video.